and everyone has different goals in the gym. Some people want to look good, feel good. Some people want to lift more weight. And then other people want to, maybe competing for whether it's a powerlifting meet. Well, in terms of a relationship, is finding someone that has values. I'd say that a lot of people nowadays don't have very many values.
Welcome to the Iron Mind Podcast. I'm Josh Brumley, lawyer, author, professor, and now podcast host. Join me as I dive into conversations with entrepreneurs, artists, business owners, and other leaders shaping the world. This is the Iron Mind Podcast. Dr. Andre Garay, Washington State's most eligible bachelor. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being on the show. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do, man.
Well, thanks for having me, Josh. So I'm a chiropractor up in Bothell, Washington at Kaufman Chiropractic Clinic. So I spend most of my time working on patients as well as weightlifting in my free time.
All right. So that's why you're such a eligible bachelor, why your fitness is like really important for your lifestyle, huh?
That's a big one for sure. I've been actually in weightlifting for a while. I did sports growing up, and then weightlifting's been like my outlet for stress management all throughout chiropractic school as well as nowadays.
Well, as we're filming this, we're just a little bit after Valentine's Day, and I know that this episode is going to air in March at some point, but tell us a little bit about your love history. Tell us about why you're Washington State's most eligible bachelor.
Well, Josh, if you want to go down that route. So I've dated people here and there and on and off, and things have worked and other things haven't. And I mean, it just comes down to finding the right person and making sure that person's going to be someone that I can spend the rest of my life with.
Yeah.
So, and marry the right person. So kind of more dating to find the right person rather than just dating to date.
Well, I think that that's something that a lot of people resonate with. And so if there's a podcast listener right now who's like, oh my God, he's a doctor, he's single, he cares about his fitness, where are the red flags here? Tell us what's your red flag?
Well, I'm sure a lot of other girls might find a reason to come up with some, but I don't know if I really have any red flags. I'm definitely not a perfect person. That's for sure. I mean, none of us are perfect, right? Mm-hmm. But I mean, I'm definitely trying to work on myself because I know that the more you work on yourself, the more that you can add value to yourself in a relationship and being a better partner.
Yeah. So if a single person wants to reach out to you, what's the best way to ask you on a date?
Well, probably through social media. You can hit me up on social media. We'll see if I even reply.
Because you don't reply to most people, or you don't reply to most date requests?
Well, so honestly, it comes to, if we're talking about dating, like I know a lot of people nowadays are finding people on dating apps. So for me, I've never been on a dating app. I probably never will be on a dating app. And the reason why is I just like finding people naturally, whether it be at the gym or through some sort of club or whatever it may be.
Or through this podcast.
Maybe through the podcast. I just think that finding someone naturally, I don't think there's anything wrong with finding someone through a dating app. I know that works for a lot of people, and there's a high percentage of people that are getting married and having successful marriages through dating apps, but it's just never been something for me.
Yeah. So you like a meet cute. You want to have a cool story to tell after the wedding to your kids.
For sure.
Okay.
Might as well.
Well, talk to us about what's important to you in a relationship.
Well, in terms of a relationship, is finding someone that has values. I'd say that a lot of people nowadays don't have very many values. It's kind of harder to find. And that's definitely something important. I want to have someone that I can take care of and be the protector for, as well as someone that can take care of my future kids, as well as be the mother of my future kids.
Yeah. Those are really important. So those are values that you seek out in a partner. What are some values that you have?
I'd say for sure loyalty. So if I'm with the right person, I'll be loyal to them, of course. I mean, that's very important in a relationship. You have to trust the other person. So trust is a big one, loyalty, and then taking care of the person and treating them like they're your everything, because eventually they will be if you decide to marry them.
Do you think social media has led to relationships being less successful?
I believe so. And the reason why is because people have options now. It's the same with dating apps, same with Tinder, Hinge, all those different apps. Is if something goes wrong in that relationship, they can just pull up an app and start going through a catalog of people.
instead of working on what
Instead
the
of
problem was.
Yeah, instead of just, working through those problems, because in any relationship, and I'm sure marriages too, I can't speak from experience because I've never been married, but even with friendships, you could look at friendships as there's going to be times when you have disagreements or arguments or a problem arises, and you have to be able to handle that in a way that's not going to destroy your marriage or your friendship or relationship and have you going another direction.
Right. Constructive, hard conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that ultimately can bring people closer together. But if someone's half in, half out, they're not going to be interested in having those hard conversations.
Yeah, definitely not. Or if they have options, right?
Yeah.
So they can just log back into their phone or go on social media and
send
find
some
someone
DMs.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Slide
exactly.
into somebody's DMs, man. Okay. Well, outside of what you do for work, what do you do for fun? What are your hobbies?
Yeah, so a lot of what I do is work. So work is I'd even consider it a hobby of mine because I do a lot of networking outside of what I typically do. Weightlifting, I'd say, is a big hobby of mine. I do a lot of like strength training, powerlifting style training, and I work out at a gym called Fitness Compound in Bothell. Shout out to them.
So if they want to meet you cute, just sign up for that gym.
Hit up Fitness Compound.
All right.
There's a lot of very dedicated weightlifters there. It's a big bodybuilding gym, so there's a lot of professional bodybuilders there as well. Everyone's very cool, takes care of themselves, and it's cool being in a community and in a community that has similar values as you.
Yeah.
Which is taking care of your body and working towards a specific goal. Everyone has different goals in the gym. Some people want to look good, feel good. Some people want to lift more weight, and then other people want to, maybe competing for whether it's a powerlifting meet, Olympic weightlifting meet, or even a bodybuilding show. Which is, I'd say, bodybuilding is the most popular at this particular gym.
Have you ever competed in a bodybuilding competition?
I've not.
Oh, okay.
I've had some friends and some previous girlfriends tell me I should.
Yeah.
But I have not made my way.
This guy must be shredded, you guys. You're missing out if you're not dating him.
Hey,
I don't
working
know
on
what's
it.
the deal.
Yeah, going back to your question. So other hobbies, golf. I like doing a lot of golf. There's a lot of docs I work with that golf as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great way to network with other professionals too, other doctors, even attorneys, or anyone that you just want to hang out with for 18 holes. I mean,
Yeah.
I know you've golfed before. I know we've talked about that.
The trick with me is I'll golf badly fast. So I'm still good company,
So
and
you
you're
can
not
keep
like,
up.
yeah. But I'm going to make you look like a great golfer if you bring me golfing because I'm not good at it. The golf clubs I own, I bought on Facebook Marketplace for like $14.
You got a good deal then.
Dude, I got a great deal. And I mean, it was the whole set, dude. So, I mean, $14, I get to drive the cart and you get to get blacked out drunk and still be better at golf than me. That sounds like a great deal.
Yeah, and in no way, shape, or form would I consider myself good at golf, but I like getting out there and trying to get better. It's definitely a sport you're always trying to progress.
So, if these are some of your hobbies, what's the first date move for you? When someone asks you out and you're like, yeah, let's do this. What's a good first date?
Well, first things first, I don't have a whole lot of people going out of their way to just ask me out.
Until this
a lot
podcast
of people
comes out, then they're all going to be just chomping at your DMs. Your
see.
phone's going to explode, dude.
We'll see. If I were to take someone on a first date, it would probably be to the gym. That'd probably be one of them. It depends on the person. If they work out, which if I were to date someone and date them seriously and then, have a long-term relationship with someone, they'd have to work out for sure.
Because you
Without
want
a
them
shot.
to enjoy that same passion that you have in being in the gym.
That's one, but then also two would be if I dated someone that didn't work out, then I would probably stop working out as much. Because if you surround yourself with, they say like the top 5 people you surround yourself, you become like them, right?
Yeah.
So if I'm dating someone or I'm married to someone that's not working out, then eventually I'm not going to work out. I'm going to be spending the most time with this person.
Yeah.
Eventually. So it just wouldn't work out.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So
gym would be a good one. I do like going out to a lot of different restaurants. I wouldn't want to take a girl or a woman that I that I don't know very well to a nice restaurant, because I don't want to have to sit there. And if I don't like this person or haven't talked to them previously, now I'm stuck with them for an hour or however long the dinner is.
Sometimes 2 hours, depending on how slow the restaurant
sure.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a great question. But
Do you have a good dating first date story that you'd like to share?
Oh man, you weren't kidding about going all in about
Dude,
this dating thing,
I
huh?
mean that we've got we could talk chiropractor content all day long, but this is what the people want to hear. You're the eligible bachelor.
I'm trying to think of a good first date.
I went on a date once to a fancy restaurant. It was a first date, a really expensive restaurant in Seattle. And I just wanted to impress this person. Didn't know them, but they were beautiful. We had talked a little bit and took them on this date. And at some point on the date, she was like, "Would you excuse me? I need to go to the bathroom." And I was like, "Yeah, sure, go." And she stayed in the bathroom for like 30 minutes. And the food came while she was in the bathroom. And I had this entire like internal debate for like 20 of those 30 minutes of like, do I just eat this food without her or do I wait? Like, she's been in there a really long time. Like, what do I do here? And it was one of those fancy restaurants where you pay like way too much money for way too little of portions. Like,
Which restaurant was it?
Oh, I don't even remember the name of the restaurant. I don't think it exists anymore. It's one of those fancy restaurants in Seattle that like didn't even have signage, like just a weird hole in the wall type place. Their logo looked like the Windows logo where it was like 4 boxes that were different colors, like the Windows 95 flag or whatever that was. Anyway, I ordered something that was like a cheesy dish that was really small and had like a sauce that was like decorating the plate in a weird little whip. And I ended up like starting eating the food. She eventually came back out and I was like, "Are you okay?" Like that was, she was like, "Oh yeah, sorry. My friend is like sad about a breakup." So I was just on the phone with her for the whole time. And I was like, "Okay." And
That's wild.
that was the last time I took that person out on a date. But I think that it was a mutual thing. Like she, for whatever reason, didn't enjoy the restaurant either. So that's my funny first date story. Do you have something worse than that? Can you match that?
I wish I had a funny date story like that. I'd say that a lot of the people that I've dated, I haven't really just gone on just dating someone just like once or twice. Like usually the people that I date and become my girlfriend or I have longer term relationships with, I'm either friends with beforehand or I start dating like soon after. So it's not like I'm meeting someone for the first time
on
to
a
see
date.
if we're gonna hit it off or not. I haven't done a whole lot of that.
Ugh, I don't recommend it.
And that's why I don't that's
recommend
why
it.
I wouldn't want to. Like you asked for a first date. I don't know if I'd want to take someone that I'm meeting for the first time to a restaurant like that because I wouldn't want to have not necessarily the exact same experience. I mean, if they're gone for 30 minutes, I'm going to assume at that point they probably walked out. I'm surprised that
there was
waited
only
that long.
one entrance. The restaurant was
really?
Yeah, the restaurant was or the bathroom was in the back of the restaurant. The entrance is in the front of the restaurant, and I thought maybe she left. And I was just like, all right, well, whatever. You know, it's so funny. I just remembered this. Like a year after that date, she hit me up on the internet for legal advice. And I thought it was the funniest shit ever. I was like, "I'm so sorry. I don't want to help you."
That's actually hilarious. I was going to say, too, that you could have used that as marketing. That date could have been a marketing sort of thing for you. But
well, that's okay. We live and we learn. Now I know, don't take first time you meet someone to a fancy restaurant.
Yeah,
like
I've had
a bad move.
I've had friends that have done stuff like that where they've met people online. I think usually that comes from when you meet someone online or if you're getting set up through a mutual friend.
Yeah.
That you're meeting this person for the first time, you go to dinner with them and then it could be a hit or miss. You just don't know.
No chemistry
you're rolling
and
the
you're
dice.
like, so anyways, the weather's bad now, huh? Like you just don't have anything you want to talk to this person about for 2 hours.
It just seems like a waste of time, honestly. I know you spend a lot of time working. Like you're telling me you work 7 days a week.
Yeah.
I find that I spend a lot of time working myself. And then the days I'm not working, I'm either networking or I'm doing some sort of hobby, like either the golf or weightlifting or whatever it may be. So I just feel like I don't have the time to waste.
Yeah.
To take some random person out that I don't even know if I'm going to hit it off with or not.
Yeah.
And then waste a night or waste 2 hours.
I could have been at
restaurant.
work this whole time.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I could have been working or I could have been focused on something else.
Yeah. Bodybuilding.
Exactly.
Making sure my delts
get
are
those
just,
gains in.
Yeah, dude, you got to. Okay, so in a perfect world, you're a chiropractor, you're an entrepreneurial type person, you're trying to build your business, you're doing everything you can to keep your body tight so you can live a long life, be healthy, and have a happy, long, healthy family life. But what does a perfect partner look like to you? Someone who you said was in the gym, taking care of their health the same way that you care about taking care of your health. What about jobs? Is there a perfect match for a chiropractor?
I think it just totally depends on the person what it comes down to. One thing that even when I was in chiropractic school, there's what's called the Palmer curse. So the Palmer curse at Palmer Davenport in Iowa is you either get divorced, you have a kid, or you get married. So that was the one of three. I didn't have any of them.
It was a curse to get married, though.
Well, it was considered the Palmer curse. Like most people, a big percentage of people, I don't remember exactly what they said, one of those three things would happen. And I saw it happen all the time. People that were married that would come there, that would end up getting divorced with their partner or spouse. Mm-hmm. And I saw so many people getting married. There was a ton of people that would marry another chiropractor. And the one thing is with chiropractic is kind of like the Wild West right now. It's gotten a lot better and there's a lot more standardization, but in terms of chiropractic itself and the techniques that are out there, there's so many different types of techniques. So I think that's one thing that our profession is working on improving right now is you can go to a chiropractor and sometimes you might not know what you're going to get. You might go to one chiropractor and you get more of a manual adjustment. So where you hear like pops and cracks. There's other ones that use more of like an instrument assisted. So like an activator or an arthrostem. And that's the only way that they adjust. So when it comes to dating someone in chiropractic school, if it was a chiropractor, a lot of the time there's different philosophies or different thought processes of how you should be treating a patient. Some people are way more philosophical with their approach. Other people are more like evidence-based. Some people are more in the middle. So if you're dating a chiropractor or you're even married to a chiropractor, you'd almost want to make sure that you have the exact same philosophy or idea of how you're going to treat patients before getting married, because I can see it being an issue and something that you could bump heads in later on. Interesting. Something that you don't really think about.
So you're saying a chiropractor dating another chiropractor?
Yeah, I think that it could happen.
Yeah,
but I would say that more often than not, there would probably be something that you could bump heads on. But it works. I've seen people from chiropractic school get married.
Yeah.
So it just totally depends on the situation.
I had someone ask me if lawyers can marry people, and I think what they meant was, can a lawyer like preside over a marriage, like in a wedding ceremony?
Oh, gotcha.
And I said, yeah, lawyers can marry people. I know someone who's married right now.
That's an attorney. Yeah, that's funny.
And they were like, that's not funny. And I was like, they can't marry their pets. They can't marry like a rock. They can't marry the ocean, but they can marry other people. Yes. They didn't think it was that funny. I thought it was hilarious.
They didn't get it.
No. What inspired you to go into chiropractic?
That's a great question. So I actually started out, when I was in high school, I applied to all my schools to be an engineer, like a mechanical engineer. So both my parents are engineers, both worked for Boeing, both did very well. And when I was younger, I just didn't know what I really wanted to do. So I figured, you just do what your parents do, So I applied to all these schools as an engineer. I was applying to schools that I had no business applying to. I remember I applied to Cal Poly, which my grades were nowhere close to get into a school like that, especially for mechanical engineering. They didn't even send me a letter of denial.
They just pretended they didn't get.
Yeah, they just ghosted.
They left you on red.
They did, 100%. And then my senior year of high school, I took the sports science class, and I realized, wow, this is really cool. This is something that I actually see myself doing in the future. So as soon as I got in all these schools, I just picked a school that had a sports science program. So I ended up actually going to University of Arizona was the school that I decided to go to first. That was where I started out for undergrad, and I did physiology there. And so I was learning, what I came to learn later is there's physiology, there's kinesiology, and those are two completely different things. Physiology is more like the study of the systems in your body, whereas kinesiology is more movement-based, more exercise-based. So I was studying physiology down in Arizona, and that was hard. And it was the classes I was taking that were difficult, but then also a lot of distractions down there as well.
What kind of distractions?
In terms of just partying.
Oh.
So lots of parties. This place, people would party Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, take Fridays off, party Saturday. It was just nonstop. Everyone
for Shabbat. Friday is Shabbat. That's the Jewish holiday for like Sabbath. So that makes sense. They
there you go.
Shabbat off.
Maybe there's a lot of Jews at University of Arizona. So I was there for a year, and then the thing is with University of Arizona, it was a great school. Most people graduate in 5 years. There's a high percentage of people that graduate in 5 years, and then also another higher percentage of people that don't even graduate at all. Mm-hmm. And it was also an expensive school, and I knew I wanted to do something post-graduation, whether it was physical therapy, chiropractic, maybe become a medical doctor. I wasn't sure. So at the end of my freshman year, I was trying to sign up for classes again. And the way that it works when you sign up for classes, as I'm sure with most schools, is the more credits you have or the further you are in the curriculum or program, you get priority over people that aren't as far. So many people seem to be so far behind that I wasn't able to get the classes that I needed to graduate on time. So I would have probably been there 5 years anyways, just because I couldn't get the classes I needed to graduate. So I ended up transferring to Washington State University. Go Cougs.
Boo.
I know you went to UW.
Boo.
And that was a way better situation. I ended up doing kinesiology there, so movement science, sports science. I got into strength and conditioning, so I was coaching a lot of the D1 athletes there as an assistant strength coach. Super cool facilities there. That's what actually got me big into weightlifting and strength training. I started doing more like Olympic weightlifting, so clean and jerks, snatches, those kind of lifts. And that's what really got me into doing that. So I did that for a couple of years there. And my sophomore year at Washington State University, I was like, I need to figure out what I want to do. So I'm going to shadow a chiropractor, I'm going to shadow a physical therapist, maybe a medical doctor, and then go from there.
Yeah.
And so I had a family friend, his name's Craig Tuttle. He was a chiropractor out of Seattle, Washington. And my little brother played basketball with his son, so that's how our parents got connected. I had gone to him for different sports injuries growing up. And so I ended up reaching out to him and was like, hey, can I come shadow? Just learn about what chiropractic is. I'm thinking about maybe this being a career path. So I shadowed him for a day, and I'll never forget this day. I remember him just running through so many different patients. And he was very efficient, but he was also listening to exactly what the patient had going on and coming up with a solution. And so with him, I was following him around. This guy was treating patient after patient after patient after patient. And I remember just thinking, like, wow, this is incredible. This guy's helping so many people in just such a short period of time. And they're all loving it. They're feeling in pain coming out. They're feeling significantly better when they're leaving. And in some cases, they're just feeling a little bit better depending on what kind of injury they had. So after shadowing him, I said, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to be a chiropractor. I don't need to shadow a physical therapist. I don't want to shadow a medical doctor.
That was it. You just saw this guy and said, I have to do this.
He sold me.
Yeah,
he sold me on it for sure. And the thing that was the craziest thing is, so this guy was seeing 400 to 500 patients a week on average. And so I thought all chiropractors did that. I thought all chiropractors were just super busy seeing 400 to 500 patients a week, but no, that wasn't the case. This guy was on another level. I'd say he was one of the best chiropractors in Washington State, one of the busiest for sure. And his first associate actually is the chiropractor that I work with now, Dr. Mike Kaufman.
So you're like his grand associate.
I guess, yeah, you could say that. His grand apprentice.
Yeah.
So Craig Tuttle ended up retiring in, I want to say 2017, 2018. So this is while I was still an undergrad. And so I ended up going to chiropractic school. He gave me all sorts of advice on things to focus on and things not to focus on as much, which was huge, having just that guidance going into it. And I ended up getting connected with Dr. Mike Kaufman, my final year of chiropractic school, which the craziest thing was, so Craig Tuttle had always told me, hey, I have an associate, was one of my best associates. He has a huge practice up in Bothell, owns the building. And I thought, he's like, you got to go check this guy out. So I thought, that'd be awesome. I need to find a time to shadow this guy. I was super busy in chiropractic school, never made the time. When I was in Davenport, Iowa at Palmer, the main campus, I had met his niece. She was in my class. Mm-hmm. I had met another chiropractic student who's now a chiropractor at in Monroe. His name's Jared Page. And then I had also heard from Craig, like, hey, you need to check this guy out. So I had 3 people telling me I needed to go check out this chiropractor. So I reached out to Craig, got connected with Dr. Mike Kaufman, shadowed him for an entire day, and then he offered me a job right then and there, which was cool.
Awesome.
So
that's where you're at now.
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it worked out. And then me coming out of chiropractic school had a little bit of an ego. And there's reasons why for that, which we can get into here in a sec if you want. But so I ended up actually telling them right away that, hey, I'm going to hold off on the job opportunity. And the reason why is because I had shadowed a bunch of other chiropractors. Every single one of them had given me a job. So I just wanted to play my cards right and make sure that I was in the right place.
Right.
So it seemed like a really good opportunity, but I wanted to see different contracts and kind of just see what would be the best fit.
Just wanted to understand what everyone was offering in a way that makes sense.
Yeah,
this is a big
absolutely.
decision. That's a responsible way to look at it.
Yeah, because my goal is just find a chiropractor that has. This is what I'll tell other students too that reach out to me is find a clinic that is exactly how you want to practice, because there's so many different types of practices.
Right.
There's what's you could call like high volume practices, where you're seeing a patient maybe 5 to 7 minutes per appointment, where all you're doing is assessing them, adjusting them, and then
Kicking
seeing
them
them
out
the next time.
Yeah.
And then there's like more rehab-based practices where that doctor is usually doing most of the rehab. Whether it's a 30-minute appointment, 45-minute appointment, they're going to be the ones leading the patient through the exercises. They may be doing some soft tissue stuff on them as well. So there's different routes you can go with chiropractic. My goal has always been to just help and serve as many people as possible while I'm here on this planet. That's just one thing. That's one reason why I got into chiropractic is I felt lost for a while. And as soon as I came into chiropractic, that's when I realized like this is what I was put on this planet to do, was to help as many people as possible.
It's a wonderful feeling when you find your calling.
Oh,
right?
For sure, man. Yeah. And the way that I could help as many people as possible was through a high volume practice. And what I like about Dr. Kaufman's practice is we have a high volume practice. However, we have other modalities there as well. So we have our own rehab department, and the exercise specialists that work in the rehab department are all 4-year degrees in kinesiology or sports science. Some of them are personal trainers. So based off what we as the chiropractor diagnose them with, we'll let the rehab team know, and then they'll come up with exercises to help move their condition forward. We also have things like decompression tables, which is where they're tractioning your spine apart. That can be used for the neck or low back, really good for disc herniation, severe degeneration, people that just feel compressed all the time. We have these lasers, MLS lasers, which is a class 4 laser therapy, which is good for anything that's inflammatory. So it can help just you could think of it as like a natural like cortisone injection or ibuprofen. It's just going to help bring down the inflammation and move things forward in a more efficient manner. So we're able to have a high volume practice with giving the patient the exercise approach to it, which as you know from this podcast, I value, and you know from me as a person.
Yeah.
The exercise approach, there's the adjustment approach, which is the adjustment has all sorts of benefits the biggest thing is just being like a mechanical thing. There's all sorts of neurological things that can happen as well. But when you create more motion through a joint, you want to reinforce that new motion with different exercises. Right. Because then that's going to actually help it be more of a long-term solution. So having more of a multi-disciplinary approach to practice was one thing that I was looking for, and that's one thing that Dr. Kaufman's practice had. And what's great about with where we're at, and then even just networking with other providers, whether it be medical doctors, PAs, or even acupuncturists, massage therapists, is when you're treating someone that's, say, in a car accident or they get a sports injury, is you have all these other providers that you can refer out to. So with chiropractic, just like anything in medicine, even like being an attorney too, you can't help everyone. So as a chiropractor, I can help a lot of people, but I can't help everyone. So I may get to the point where a patient may not be getting better, or they need me to refer them to someone else, whether it be to a neurologist if they're having more neurological stuff that I can't figure out, whether it be to a PA or an MD to do some sort of like facet injections into their spine. So there's all sorts of, having all these other people in your network is a great way to give the patient the best care possible.
Yeah. Really important, man. If you could have lunch with any person in history, who would you have lunch with and why?
So no, that's a great question. So I would have lunch with Jesus Christ.
Okay.
And the reason why is, so one, I believe in Jesus Christ. I'm a Christian. So I think that having lunch with this guy is, he was a healer. So he was healing all sorts of people from all sorts of different diseases, illnesses, and providing all sorts of miracles. And a lot of people, especially in the United States, don't believe in Jesus. You go to Israel, like there's all sorts of historical evidence all over the place about him being an actual person on this planet. If I were to be able to have lunch with him, I'd be able to see him perform some of these miracles, and I'd be a first eyewitness from first
current age. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Which would be wild, So
do you think Jesus, because he was a Jew, do you think he would try to turn you from being Christian into being a Jew? Because he's Jesus Christ, so there wasn't Christianity.
Yeah,
he'd be like, hey man, listen, being Jewish, this is the right move. Do you think he would say that?
But he was also rejected by the Jews too. He was persecuted and killed by the Jews.
Oh, dang it.
Or the Romans, you could say. But a lot of Jews rejected him, and they don't believe him as him being the Son of God. Mm-hmm. So it's a little bit different, but the Jews are God's chosen people. However, I don't think that he would try to
convert you into Judaism.
Right. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it's a complicated situation because he never saw Christianity the way that we do.
For sure.
So
yeah, it's completely different.
Who knows what he would think?
Yeah.
What about a food that you could eat every single day? You seem like a
steak, hands down.
Damn, that was a fast answer. Okay.
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
I love steak. I could eat steak every single day, honestly. And I know I'm talking to a vegetarian right now. So.
Hey man, you're really talking to your future wife on camera here. So she just needs to know what, if anything, you like to eat that hopefully she can help.
Steak
and
I love.
enjoy
I mean,
with
I would
you.
honestly, actually, I'll change that. I'd say sushi. Sushi's good. Yeah, I could eat sushi every single day because you got the carbohydrates in there, you got the proteins.
Oh,
in there,
you're
you got
thinking
all these
about the
different
full
types
macros now.
Yep.
Okay, well, Sushi Samurai in Seattle, best sushi in Seattle. Check them out. Can you, before we end the podcast, give me a car crash, call Josh right into the camera?
Car crash, call Josh.
All right. And then last but not least, what's a motto or some words of affirmation or a positive message that you'd like everyone to hear that helps you to run your business or live your life in a healthy way?
So I got two. So one, I have a motto here. This is for my networking group, and I'm Dr. Andre Garay with Kaufman Chiropractic, helping people overcome injuries from falls, car accidents, sports injuries without the unnecessary use of drugs and surgery. And then a quote to end everything is I had this poster when I was in college in my room. It was a picture of Muhammad Ali boxing underwater. And one quote that I paired with that is, you want to be successful if you want it as bad as you want to breathe.
Yeah. That's really
That's
good.
one thing that kind of stuck with me, motivated me through undergrad and then chiropractic school.
Beautiful, man. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast. How can people find you on Instagram to ask you on a date?
So my Instagram account I have a few different Instagram accounts. So don't ask why.
Whoa. Red flag,
Yeah,
red flag.
There's my red
There
flag
you
right
go.
there.
That's it. He's got Finstas, girls.
Yeah, so I got my regular account, which is just my name, Andre Garay 11, and then that's a private account. I have a fitness account too, which I'm not really trying to grow, but more of just to log all my lifts.
That's your personal
It's like a
journey.
training log.
It's
sort
your
of thing.
journey.
Yeah, I don't really care if people follow it. And then I just started a chiropractic page where I'm trying to grow that.
What's that one?
account.
Give us the @
That one I want to say is just Dr. Andre Garay. I think that's it.
Okay.
DC, maybe at the end.
Okay, we'll find it. We'll put
Yeah,
it in
you
the
can throw it in there
podcast
for you.
Everybody can ask for your professional opinions
Just
on
start-
their
you can just
injuries
start
on that
searching
one.
around.
And then if they want to ask you on a date, they have to DM the personal page because, you got to keep it professional on the professional page.
There
Perfect.
you go. You know it.
All right, man. Thanks for being on the show.
All right, Josh. Thanks for having me.